This video serves as a complete boss guide for the new Brawler's Guild of patch 11.2.7. This Brawler's Guild has been a little bit easier for me than the other ones, but some bosses will still be a pain in the butt if you lose your focus, especially the newer ones. I will go over all 28 bosses from rank 1 all the way up to rank 8. If you want a guide about the challenge mode bosses, let me know down in the comments below. Before we begin, keep in mind that there is a Moonkin vendor that allows you to buy consumables that might help you in the fights if you happen to struggle a bit. I did every fight on my Brewmaster/Windwalker monk at an item level of around 715, so if you are around that eye level, you should be able to blast through this content with no issues at all. The very first fight is Sunny, and this one is pretty straightforward. It will occasionally just cast Sunblast. You can kick that if you want to, but it doesn't really deal any damage. A few seconds into the fight, it will start casting Germinate, where it will spawn 4 Sunlings around it, making the boss immune until all the ads are killed. Just go around in a circle and kill the ads one by one and dodge the green swirlies along the way, and that's pretty much it. The second boss is a pretty annoying one, especially for melee specs. Doomflipper's only mechanic is flipping out, where it tries to jump on you for a few seconds. Use your mobility spells like sprint and run away until his cast is over. Since that's its only mechanic, it will pretty much spam this ability, making it miserable for any melee class to kill this boss. But nonetheless, it's still very manageable. Just don't get hit. Goredome is the third boss, and it starts by instantly charging towards you. Make sure you move out of the way and dodge the impact zone wherever he stops. That's pretty much the only mechanic, so just dodge and keep up the DPS. The next boss is Dippy. Dippy will constantly cast Peck, which deals insane amounts of damage, and since you can't dodge it, the damage stacks up quite fast. What you have to do to prevent Dippy from casting it is constantly damaging him with any kind of spell. Rushing Jadewind, for example, keeps Dippy pretty much incapacitated for the entire fight, and he becomes a damage sponge. Keep in mind that if Dippy is already with his back against the wall, he will no longer be knocked back, so adjust your angle whenever that happens to prevent the packs. The entire fight is just making sure to deal some type of direct damage to this little guy, and you'll be fine. Next up is Bruce. If you played the Brawler skill before, this fight is pretty much the exact same, as he just uses a frontal chomp chomp chomp, and all you have to do is get out of his face. That's literally it. Bill the Janitor is a very funny but also a very simple fight. All Billy does the entire fight is summoning brooms, and every third broom is equipped with a heavy hitting bomb, so always kick his third cast. This should reset the bomb counter, and you should have it up before the next bomb cast. The normal brooms also don't deal any damage really, and have little to no health. If an explosive broom cast gets through, switch your target to the explosive one and try to kill it before it goes off. If it does, you're most certainly dead. Oso is another basic fight with 2 mechanics. One is Shotgun Roar. You can simply dodge this frontal, and that's about it. The next mechanic is his occasional Grizzly Leap cast, where you just have to run out of the circle. If you have no way of dodging, try to hit your defenses before he lands, as it does big amounts of damage and stuns you for a few seconds. Next up, the Quacken. This boss occasionally drops purple swirlies below you, and all you have to do is dodge them. Eventually, it will cast Tentacle Monster, where you'll get turned into a duck for a few seconds and get bombarded by purple swirlies. Activate your sprint ability that you just got and run around the room until the debuff is gone. Fight number 9 is just a funny gimmick fight. It's obviously a reference to Magikarp from the Pokemon series, but unlike Magikarp, Razorgrin actually has a mechanic. Kinda. All he does is have a permanent frontal hitbox, so just don't stand in front of his mouth and you'll be pretty much good to go. Boss number 10 is another oldie. It has the same mechanics as before, as all he does is constantly splitting himself into many blobs. Focus on the main Blat and all the other ones will die with it. If you're struggling towards the end with the damage intake, try kiting them. The fake Blats are always a little bit slower than the original one, so if you do it correctly with a few movement abilities, you can separate the main one from the group and the boss will become even easier. Before we move on, I wanted to mention that I want to reach the 10,000 subscriber mark before the end of the year, so if you enjoyed this video up until now, consider subscribing. That way you won't miss out on any future uploads of mine, and if you ever change your mind, you can always take it away. Anyways, let's move on to boss number 11. Ooliss is actually a very scary boss if you're not careful. This boss only has a single mechanic, but if it ever touches you during it, you will instantly die, no matter how much HP you have left. Ooliss will teleport into a random location in the arena and will start casting Horrifying Pursuit. He will then literally hunt you down and try to grab you. If you get too close to him or touch the purple indicator in front of him, you will die. What I can recommend is try and kite him around the edge of the arena and wait until the cast is done. You will then have a small window where you can pump damage until he rinses and repeats. King Kulaka is the next boss, and if you remember him from back in the day, he's pretty much the exact same hard-hitting truck he used to be. He doesn't have any noteworthy mechanic, all he does is attack you and hit you extremely hard. If you are a class with a sufficient self-healing and enough defensives, you should be probably good to go. But if you don't have such things, you will need to time your defenses perfectly in order to survive this guy's sheer damage output. You also can't really take your time in these boss fights as they will eventually enrage and hunt you down, so you will need to face him head on. Boss number 13 is another pretty easy one. Meatball will drop these purple orbs on the floor and you're gonna pick them up as you go. These orbs will give you the debuff Strange Feeling, which heals the player and increases the damage by I think 20% for each orb. The debuff doesn't last long, so what I can recommend is not picking them up all at once, but rather spread them out and pick them up one after the other just before the time of your debuff runs out. Once the boss reaches 25%, it will implode and the fight will be over. Next up is Ash Ketchum, another obvious reference to Pokemon. The only thing he casts is I Pick You, which sends forth a random critter-sized mob towards you, dealing a good amount of damage in the process. This mechanic is so incredibly hard to see as a melee, and I can only recommend you to constantly rotate around him and stay at max distance for a better chance to spot the critters before they get to you. Although this fight is meant to be funny, these critters can kill you if you're not cautious. This is another oldie, Crush. He will eventually jump into the middle of the arena and start casting Collision towards you. When I fought him, the damage output wasn't big enough to kill me, so you can either tank the charge or be safe and let him run into a wall. No matter what you choose, he will deal damage on impact and stun himself for 5 seconds. After he wakes up again, the cycle repeats itself. Glorp is another new fight. He spits out 4 big puddles of green stuff below him. Just kite him out of these zones and hit defensives if it starts hurting. If you can't handle the damage that way either, just wait until his resource bar is empty and fight him when he's out of juice. After he spat out 4 puddles, he will start casting Gloopsy and all the puddles will move towards him. Don't stand between the boss and the puddles during the sequence as the puddles will still damage you massively if they pass through you. Boss number 17 is Klunk. Klunk's only mechanic is standing in the middle of the arena and casting Klunk. All you have to be aware of is not standing in front of him or inside the blue circle when the cast is about to go off. You can do and stand wherever you want to during the cast, but you can't stand in those areas when the cast goes off or you will be 100% dead. Pretty simple boss for number 17 honestly. The Terror from Darkshire obviously won't miss out on a brawl, which is why he is number 18 in the list. Stitches will always hook you towards him when you're out of range. His other mechanic is the green puddle that he's always carrying around him. This puddle will deal constant damage, which can start hurting eventually as it stacks. You can remove the stacks by stepping out of the puddle for a split second. Even one simple step is enough to remove the debuff. The other thing you will have to be aware of is not letting this debuff stack too high, as you will die instantly if it reaches 10 stacks. So similar to the tank challenge in the Mage Tower, if you played that one, just step out of the Gru every 4 to 6 stacks to be safe. Tops is next up on the list, and this one is pretty annoying, not gonna lie. The only thing he does is cast Dino Dash, where he charges towards you and instantly one-shots you if it connects. The problem with this mechanic is that the hitbox is very generous, so I can only recommend you to take a big leap out of his way just to be sure. Once Tops runs into a wall for the first time, it gets dazed and takes extra damage from every attack. Keep your CDs for this exact moment. If your damage output isn't enough for a single phase, just keep dodging him and wait until he hits the wall 3 times, where he gets stunned once again. Also, the longer the fight goes, the faster you will cast Dino Dash, so be aware of that. The challenge in this fight is trying to kill him as fast as you can. Carl, the 20th boss, is a pretty funny one, honestly. This worm casts lava spit into a random location on the arena, where a lava puddle and 4 lava walls will form. These walls will move away from the impact location, and all you have to do is find the spots on the edge and dodge them. He will also relocate himself by using Borrow quickly after casting lava spit, making the lava walls a bit more dangerous. Other than that, it's a pretty simple fight. This next boss can be quite difficult for some of you. There will be 5 gnomes spawning simultaneously with different levels of health. Wheezy with 100%, Fleazy with about 90%, Greasy with 80%, Sleazy with 70%, and Queasy with 60%. Every single one of these gnomes will constantly cast Leprous Spew, which is an insanely hard-hitting dot that stacks up to 20. What you want to do to prevent your slow and painful death is killing the lowest percent HP one. So Queasy first and move up to the next lowest one. You will have to use all your cooldowns and focus down one by one in order to be able to survive. I did this on my Brewmaster and died several times because I just couldn't mitigate the dot with my defensives and my stagger at some point. Next up is Mecha Bruce. Mecha Bruce is very similar to the normal Bruce fight with a few key differences. He still has his chomp 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 frontal that you have to dodge, but now he also has better, stronger, faster, which improves his armor and makes him, as you might have guessed, better, stronger and faster. Shortly after casting that, he will use Stasis Beam, which will stun you for 3 seconds and charge towards you trying to chomp you. What I can recommend is to keep him in the corner at all times, and once you see the Stasis Beam, run away as far as possible so he has a longer travel time before he can actually chomp you. Use any movement or blink ability you might have and cover as much distance in those 2.5 seconds as you possibly can. This will give you enough time to snap out of it and dodge the chomp frontal before it kills you. This fight is also pretty much a damage check. The longer you need to kill him, the stronger he will get. The next one is Megablast and Bo Bubble. These two will jump around the arena and cast various things at you. They also have a shared health bar, so you're not forced to stack them up together at all times, but it will make the fight a little bit easier if you can. Max Megablast usually sits in the middle of the arena and casts Goblin Rocket Barrage. Just dodge the red circles on the floor and avoid getting hit. If you do get hit, you will take a good chunk of damage and get knocked back, potentially into other rockets. Bo Bubble is the one focusing you and casting Gnomish Death Ray. Kick the cast whenever you can, as there is no other important cast you have to track. Eventually, either one of them is going to jump into one of these shield generators on the edges of the arena, making them completely immune. Destroy the shield generator and continue the fight, and that's about it. Fight number 24 is a rematch with Dippy, but this time there's also his big brother Doopy. Dippy's mechanic is exactly the same. Keep damaging him directly to knock him back and kick his pack cast. Doopy's pack can't be kicked, but you can dodge it as it is only a frontal. The difficulty in this fight is managing both guys at once. It's not the hardest fight here, but it might get hectic if you're trying to keep both mobs locked down at once. If you're a ranged class, I would recommend you to staying in melee range, as it will make it easier for you to keep both of them together. Unlike the last fight, these two do not share a health bar, so you will have to kill both of them separately. From what I was able to tell, they do not get any new mechanics if you kill one before the other, so if you're struggling with either one of them, you can focus one down and focus on the other one later. Next one is probably my all-time favorite brawl boss, as it is an homage to Plunderstorm, my favorite limited time event. The arena is surrounded by a storm that gets smaller and smaller the longer the fight goes, just like in any regular battle royale. The boss has 3 abilities. First one is Searing Axe, which she casts the most, where it is a heavy hitting frontal cast. It's pretty easy to dodge, so you should be fine. The other ability she got from Plunderstorm is Repel. This ability will reflect one spell back to you. Melee should also get out of the circle area, as it will knock you back and silence you if the cast goes off. Her last ability is Towering, where she jumps on top of a high tower that you have to break down before you can damage her again. While you're trying to destroy the tower, she will drop barrels on you that you have to dodge. This is basically a stalling device to stretch out the fight and reduce the space you have left. Overall, pretty simple fight if you're familiar with the Plunderstorm mechanics and abilities. Next up is another council fight, and this one can get very dangerous very quickly. The fight starts with Hudson casting Barrier Projector, making everyone inside immune to damage, and Dole Dastardly casting High Noon. If High Noon goes off, you will die instantly, so you will have to kill him as fast as you possibly can. In order to damage him though, you will have to destroy the Absorb shield on Hudson. Once destroyed, you will also stop casting the projector cast, giving you the opportunity to send all your cooldowns on Dole. During the entire fight, Stuffshrew will cast Maniacal Laugh, which knocks you back a good amount, so always keep track of that. Once Hudson stops casting, you will keep casting Tesla Cannon, while Stuffshrew throws bombs all around you. Dodge the swirlies and kick the Tesla Cannon cast whenever you can, and keep focusing Dole until he's dead. If you manage to kill Dole before he gets his High Noon off, you should be more than fine, and the other ones shouldn't be any problem anymore. Now this fight gets very confusing if you don't know what you're doing. Bingtron 3000 will spawn on one corner and the Tesla coil will spawn on the opposite corner. During the entire fight, Bingtron will spawn little ads that you will have to use as a conductor. Kill these ads in a line between Bingtron and the Tesla coil so that you can see these blue lightning lines. If you have the ads lined up, you will have to go to the Tesla coil and activate it. If you have done everything correctly, it will emit a chain lightning explosion all the way to the boss, making him vulnerable to any damage. This is your window to kill him. If you take too long or mess up the mechanic, you will flood the entire arena with lava and you will be instantly killed. This fight is only difficult if you're clueless like I was. It took me like 4 to 5 tries to figure out what I had to do, so you guys luckily won't have to go through that anymore. Moving on to the last boss of the Brawler's Guild, which is the Destructobite aka Epicus Maximus. This construction is composed of Epicus Maximus himself, an elite flying shark equipped with 2 rockets and a laser beam, a dinosaur, and Rock On, the elite Forsaken with the Arcanite Ripper. So just another Tuesday, I guess. This boss has a lot of mechanics going on at once. Beginning with these sound waves that constantly bombard the arena. They always have a pulsing indicator before they land, so just stay away from those. While dodging the red swirlies, you will also be followed by the Destructor Laser, which deals a moderate amount of damage. Once the laser cast is over, they will start casting Blue Crush, which will knock you back until the cast is over. Interrupt this cast at all costs, as you will probably get sniped by the sound wave swirlies if you don't. That's basically everything this boss does. Although it doesn't look that difficult at first, it gets pretty hectic when they all start casting at once, so always be wary. All in all though, pretty easy for a final boss if you figure it out. And that's every boss from the new Brawler's Guild coming with 11.2.7. If you liked this video, consider subscribing to my channel and joining my Discord. If you enjoyed this video, you will most likely also enjoy one of my other ones that you see on your screen right now. I also started actively streaming recently, so if you want to catch me live doing all sorts of different things, join me in the community on twitch.tv/Varian. I will see you there. I hope I was able to help you guys out, and I will see you in the next one.